Feathered circuit.
Captain's log, stardate 5097.3. Starfleet reports major military activity in the Klingon sector near Krakoor, a planet on the edge of Klingon space. Intelligence indicates that the Klingons are mobilizing a large fleet to search for a renegade who is responsible for a disruption of unknown nature on that planet. Federation sensors have found a faint energy trail leading to the planet Zam-4 in the Digifal system. We've been ordered by Starfleet to track down the source of the energy and discovered what happened on Krakoor before the Klingon fleet enters Federation space. If we are not successful, the Federation and the Klingon Empire may find themselves at war once again.
Go where?
Nothing to report, Captain.
Orders are to proceed to the Digifal system.
Okay.
Save new game.
Orders are to proceed to the Digifal system.
Digival. Where is Digival?
Captain, a Klingon battle cruiser has entered the system.
Open hailing frequencies. This is Captain James T. Kirk of the USS Enterprise. Klingon battlecruiser, you are in Federation space. You must leave immediately.
I am Commander Taraz of the Nizra. We are in pursuit of a genocidal criminal. We are performing an act of mercy in removing him from your space. Naturally, you will remove your vessel from this system, for your own safety, of course.
I think we can take care of ourselves, Taraz, which is more than I can say for you, if the Nizra does not leave Federation space at once. You are in direct violation of the Organian Treaty, mister. If you have a problem, have your fleet commander take it up with them. If a Federation criminal were to pass into Klingon space, you'd be saying the same thing to me. Who do you think you're trying to fool, Taraz? Get your ship out of here now. I think we can take care of ourselves. You are in direct violation of...
If we are not allowed to capture this criminal, Captain, you may do this for us. We insist that we remain here to monitor the situation, but we will take no action, provided that you can bring him to us in 12 hours.
Agreed. Vessels of war are not allowed in Federation space. You will pull back to the Organian neutral zone and do so immediately. Agreed.
Nothing to report, Captain.
Entering standard orbit.
Hailing frequencies open.
Well, we usually transport down now.
Assemble a landing party. Unless we find this so-called criminal, we're going to war.
The moon of Digifal. Legend says that the gods of good and evil fortune live there and will glance back at those who look at them, and either a miracle or a catastrophe will soon befall those who gaze upon it. It looks like the jungle has grown up into a small hut. Feral red eyes glare out of the dark at you. Luminescent insects swarm near a large tree. There is a tall, slender, dark-haired man looking intently at you.
Greetings, my children. I can barely imagine that you have come so far.
I am Captain James T. Kirk of the Starship Enterprise. Did you know the Klingons are looking for you? I'm Captain James T. Kirk of the Starship Enterprise. What did you do to get the Klingons so upset? We're not your children, and we don't appreciate this wild goose chase you forced us into. I'm Captain James T. Kirk of the Starship Enterprise.
Quaint expression. I have done nothing to anger them. I did with them what I have done with everyone.
And exactly what would you have done with them? Entering Klingon space for anything puts the peace in peril. Whatever you did has them very upset. They're raiding worlds looking for you. And exactly what would you have done with them? Entering Klingon space for anything puts the peace in peril.
Jeopardize the peace? Hardly. Peace is what I preach. I am Quetzalcoatl, as you well know from the proud history of your world.
Quetzalcoatl? How fitting you would name yourself after one of the most bloody-handed gods in Earth's history.
Bloody-handed? My people love peace.
Your followers regularly sacrificed other believers to you after you left, offering you their still-beating hearts. Ha! You mean your followers loved pieces? They slaughtered other believers hoping you'd return. Your followers regularly...
Impossible. You must be lying.
And then your followers were destroyed, because when white men arrived on that continent, they were believed to be you in your promised return. Your people perverted your teachings, then were destroyed by it.
Foul, lying creatures! My gift was wasted upon you! Be gone!
What?
We are not the inheritors of the noble Aztec world. What you have said has greatly disturbed me. You should not lie so. You shall remain here until you have learned the error of angering Quetzalcoatl.
This particular snake doesn't seem to like your company and moves when it... This particular snake doesn't seem to like your company and moves whenever you get near it. There is a light suspended from above by a chain. There is a vine hanging down into the pit. Feral red eyes glare out of the dark at you.
It's a damn snake. Do you know what snake bite does? It can ruin your whole day.
We are not likely to find a way out of this pit with humor, Doctor. I suggest you concentrate your efforts to the problem at hand.
Do they always argue like this, Captain?
Well, yes.
Does it look sick to you, Captain? There's nothing there required.
This vine is not likely to support our weight by itself, Captain. You would have to find some way to reinforce it.
Ooh, a snake.
It looks like a Zamphorian pit snake, a rather common species in this region, noted by galactic herpetologists for their quickness. It is not venomous or dangerous to humans. Nothing to report, Captain.
Aye.
You fail to obtain any... You fail to obtain... The vine is attached to a tree above you. There is a tiny hole in the wall at this point. Certainly no human could crawl through here.
Right, stand by the hole. And grab the snake.
Lieutenant Strachey is carefully examining the pit. There are rocks here quite suitable for picking up and throwing. You pick up some rocks from the pile.
Okay. What if it escapes?
Nothing happens. There is a tiny hole in the wall at this point. Certainly no human could crawl through here. You already have rocks. Nothing happens.
Wait, I still have my phasers.
It is logical that an entity that professes to teach peace would render our phasers inoperative.
Okay.
Oh, fascinating. It did appear to knock the vine down near to the point where one of us can reach it.
Didn't they have baseball on Vulcan? Show us your fastball, Jim.
Baseball? No one plays that anymore. Good try, though, sir.
The probability of getting the vine on the second try was only 36.53%. Well done, Captain.
Probability? That was a perfect pitch if I ever saw one.
All right, we're on our way.
Where's the view?
This great tree has been in this jungle for centuries. This great tree has been in... You are in a densely vegetated area. The overgrowth blocks your view in all directions. Trees to the left of you, trees to the right of you. Into the valley of trees raced the landing party.
I am Tolokzak, priest of Quetzalcoatl. Only one who knows his ways may approach his holy ground.
Well, either this Aztec is a real flesh and blood human being, or I'm going to be retired as soon as I get back to the Enterprise. These lamps are made up of insects much like fireflies, Jim.
What do I have?
Indeed, you know the ways of Quetzalcoatl, but only a man of courage, one who will shed blood, will pass.
Does that count?
I will not listen to your deceitful ways.
Taloxac falls to the ground unconscious.
He dropped a knife, Jim.
Knife.
You fail to obtain anything.
I have shed blood.
You pick up the beautifully crafted knife. A large fern fans the pathway. Below this rock is a large growth of mushrooms.
It vaguely resembles the Terran Spanish bayonet. The edges of the leaf are razor sharp and secrete a poisonous resin. Trousakian mushrooms. Their spores are highly toxic and are released if they are disturbed.
There's nothing there requiring a ship's doctor. I would strongly recommend against touching these, Jim. They're highly toxic.
Nothing happens. Nothing happens. Nothing happens. Nothing happens. The river water is too muddy to get an idea of its depth, or what may be beneath its surface. This plant has a rather thick stem and prickly leaves. You look but see nothing of note. The log looks quite old but sturdy.
The tricorder registers a life form, a large marine creature lurking just below the surface of the water. It appears that the leaves are slightly toxic. I would not recommend touching it for an extended amount of time, Captain. The tricorder registers nothing to report.
Jim, there's some kind of an aquatic creature down there. There's nothing there requiring a ship. There's nothing there requiring...
You fail to obtain... The plant is tough. You will need something sharp to cut it. The plant is tough.
Jedi. Oh, I have a plant.
It would appear that the plant secretes a chemical that is a natural repellent to the creature. It has retreated far downstream, Captain.
Let's get more plants.
It is a large cluster of crystals. Darkness leading into the unknown. Stalagmites rise from the floor of the cave. Stalactites descend from the ceiling.
I should warn you, the stalactites could collapse quite easily. Any sudden motion could cause large quantities of stalactites to fall on us.
Well, isn't this just great?
Doctor, I would point out that your voice could also trigger such a collapse.
Will you two stop arguing just once? Then, gentlemen, I would advise you to stop arguing. You know, some shore leave sounds pretty good right now. Will you two, and gentlemen, I would advise you...
It would seem to be a prudent course of action, Captain, if Dr. McCoy would agree. This appears to be a formation of raw dilithium crystals, Captain. These stalactites were made from limestone deposits. They took millennia to form. These stalagmites were made from limestone
You have one dilithium crystal in raw form.
Excellent.
They appear to be ordinary rocks. Spock's tricorder might say otherwise.
Fascinating. These rocks are limestone, but contain an unusually high content of heavy metals. There are dilithium crystals here, but in a very raw form. Fascinating.
Nothing happens. Nothing happens. This is one place where dilithium crystals don't seem to be very useful. An interesting but useless maneuver. An interesting but...
I watched as you worked through the problems I set in your path. You are a valiant, intelligent species. Please sit down. We have much to discuss.
I've had it up to here with so-called superior beings terrorizing my crew because we're so primitive. Maybe you should see how primitive you are before you go around testing others. One thing first, if you're so peaceful, how come the Aztecs were so violent and aggressive? Yes, I guess we do. Go on. I've had it up to here with so-called superior beings terrorizing my crew because we're so primitive. Maybe you should see how primitive... One thing first, if you're so peaceful...
I tried to teach them the concept of self-sacrifice. It would appear they did not completely understand my teachings. You are clearly not the liars I thought you to be. Were you telling me the truth about my disciples? That they became ruthless savages?
The Federation is not in the business of lying, mister. Absolutely. Your best intentions were changed by the imperfect humans that you left in charge after you departed. Such is the way of our race, I'm afraid. You messed up in a big way. Perhaps you should try following the Prime Directive. It changed our... The Federation is not in the business of lying, mister.
Your harshness is unwarranted, but I sense truth in this. Perhaps this is what happened to my children on the Klingon world of Rakur, which would explain why they are searching for me. I have clearly abused the power that was given me long ago.
You show great wisdom, sir, but your statement implies that you wish to change your condition.
Indeed. If my mission of peace was overthrown, then I am no longer worthy of my power. Tell me, has your species made progress in the medical arts?
We're a technologically advanced starfaring race. What do you think? That we wouldn't have made progress in medicine? With Dr. McCoy, I sometimes wonder, but yes, I would say we have made considerable advances. Yes, why do you ask? We're a with Dr. McCoy, yes, why do you ask?
At the top of my spine is a gland not found in your species. This is the seat of my power. I wish you to remove it, thereby making me immortal.
Jim, I'll try. but the physiology is completely alien.
You've got to do it, Bones. If the Klingons realize he's no longer a threat to them, perhaps we can avoid a war. Scotty, 5 to beam up.
Captain, 3 Klingon heavy battle cruisers have just entered the system. Admiral Kenka is hailing us, sir.
Federation starship, this is Admiral Blick Kinka of the Clearter. You harbor a criminal who has caused the destruction of the entire population of Rakor. We are not prepared to negotiate. You will proceed to Rakor, where a court of Cleon justice will be convened. If you refuse, we shall destroy you.
Admiral Vlicht, the criminal of whom you speak is in the middle of a very delicate medical procedure. He cannot be handed over to anyone at this time. I cannot believe Quetzalcoatl's mission to Rakor would cause the deaths of the entire planet. Since when do Klingons give orders to Federation officers, Admiral? I realize it's difficult for a Klingon, but don't be a fool. Admiral Vlicht, the criminal of whom you speak is in the middle of a very delicate medical procedure. He cannot be handed over to anyone at this time. I cannot believe Quetzalcoatl's mission to Rakor would cause the deaths of the entire planet.
I am interested.
His attempt to corrupt the Empire with his philosophy led to the destruction of all life on Rakor.
How could a philosophy of peace and non-violence cause the destruction of all life on Rakor?
Rakor has been governed by my family for generations, but even they were corrupted by him. It was a matter of honor that his lies had to be silenced, no matter what the cost.
My God, you killed your own people just because they acquired a philosophy that you disagreed with? So you killed them, your own family. You were responsible for their deaths, not Quetzalcoatl. You murdered them. You're insane. Tell me, how much do your commanders know about what you did? Or do you need to kill Quetzalcoatl to hide your own deeds? My God, you killed your own people just because they acquired...
It was that creature's fault. Had he not interfered in our affairs, the people of Rakor would be alive. Clearly, he is responsible.
Message from Starfleet Command.
I'll argue this with you later, Vlicht.
Contact your superiors, Kirk. You may be surprised.
I have bad news, Captain. The Organians have ruled that Quetzalcoatl's interference in Klingon affairs renders him subject to Klingon law. You are to turn your prisoner over to them at Rakor. Klingon law will permit you to observe or aid in his defense. But be very careful, Jim. Starfleet out.
Captain, you cannot turn him over to those butchers. That would be murder.
We have no choice, Scotty. I'm afraid Quetzalcoatl has a date with Klingon justice. Set course for Rakor, Mr. Chekhov. Captain's log. We have come to the ruined Klingon planet of Rakor to deliver our guest, the mythical entity Quetzalcoatl, to a Klingon court. Dr. McCoy, Mr. Spock, and Ensign Benny and I have been granted permission by the Organians to witness this trial, which I expect to be a travesty of any meaningful definition of justice. Spock, come with me. Mr. Scott, you have the comm.
The prisoner and his witnesses will stand forth, so the trial may begin.
Save new game.
Ooh, I feel like a lot of stuff happened.
Replace
So, Kirk, we finally meet. I had thought it would be in battle, but the universe holds many surprises.
There's nothing less appealing than a gloating Klingon, Vlicht. Let's get this trial underway. Stick around, Vlicht. There are more surprises awaiting you. Why does every Klingon tell me they expected to meet me in battle? You really have a one-track mind. There's nothing less appealing than a gloating Klingon. Stick around, Vlicht.
So be it! This begins the trial of the entity Quetzalcoatl, who is charged with impersonating a Klingon, studying dissent, encouraging cowardice, and treason in the highest degree.
Those are serious charges, Vlicht. Should he not be tried by a Klingon high court?
He has not demonstrated honor, Kirk. Only a proven warrior may be tried in high court. principles of honor are not applicable to his defense.
I'm a warrior, Vlicht. I hereby intervene for him and demand the honors and responsibilities of a warrior's trial. And this trial is a mockery for the entire galaxy to see. Oh, well, I'm afraid you're on your own, Quetzalcoatl. I'm a warrior, Vlicht.
A Federation officer claiming the rights of a Klingon warrior. How dare you insult me, Kirk?
I've faced Klingons both in personal and ship-to-ship combat. Your own records will confirm this. If I'm not worthy of their honors, why didn't they kill me?
That oversight, Kirk, is easily rectified. You and your 3 companions may face the test that we set for the Defender. Then we shall see if you are as worthy as a Klingon.
I want your word of honor, Vlicht, that Quetzalcoatl will not be harmed while we take these tests.
Very well. You have my word. Captain Calarax, transport them to the test of life.
What is this place?
Not much is known about Hrakur, Ensign. This would appear to be some sort of a mining installation. That creature might be a native life form.
A test of courage? That is the Klingon way.
I somehow doubt that Vlicht intends for us to survive this, whatever the outcome. We're the only thing that stands between him and the killing of Quetzalcoatl that he can justify.
Why should he worry about justification, Captain? He's a Klingon. Murder is as natural to them as breathing.
That's not true, Ensign. However, I suspect that Vlicht's attack on Hrakur exceeded his orders. He needs Quetzalcoatl as a scapegoat, and he needs a fair trial to avoid an inquiry of his own actions.
And our deaths will be the only way he can get it. Great!
This creature is composed of electrical fields. I would not recommend approaching it. A metal projectile might disrupt its fields and render it harmless. Nothing to report, Captain. These wooden rods are support beams that were not placed. This rock has a high iron content. This rock has a high iron content.
There's nothing there requiring a... It does not register as a known life form. There's nothing there requiring a ship's doctor. There's nothing there requiring...
No effect. No effect. You burn one of the rods. You melt some of the rock.
Metal projectile.
You coat the rod with molten iron. It hardens quickly. Nothing happens.
Pass.
As I suspected, Captain, the creature is in stasis. It should awaken in 3.48 days.
I bet it'll be mad.
Captain, I would strongly recommend against disturbing the rod. It could result in awakening the creature or possibly electrocuting you.
You coat the rod with...
I should have 2 rods now. Excellent.
a slightly antiquated Klingon lock mechanism. You look but see nothing of note.
An entry coder for the door, keyed to a number sequence. The tricorder is unable to determine the code, but can scan the mechanism. An entry coder for the door, keyed to a number sequence. The tricorder is unable to determine the code, but can scan the mechanism.
What? Spock, hack.
We do not know the code, Captain. We do not know the code, Captain. We do not know the code, Captain.
Right. Bones, hack.
I don't know the code.
You look but see nothing of note. A slightly antiquated Klingon lock mechanism. This section of wall was carved by some sort of plasma field. The wall is resistant to phaser fire.
Jim, are you mad? That's our only way out.
A slightly antiquated Klingon lock. The floor is incomplete, made of unrefined natural rock. Save new game. Replace.
There's nothing there requiring...
Captain, there is a force field between us and the planet. We have your position at approximately 30 meters beneath the surface of Hakor, and what appears to be the ruins of an archaeological dig. Keep us informed. We'll help you all we can. We can analyze any data you gather through the main computer.
Uhura, prepare to receive a tricorder message. There is a door with an entry coder here. Try to analyze the circuits and let the main computer crack the code.
Scan complete. Main computer has the code. We also read an anomaly. Something else has tapped into the key code. Shall I analyze?
I want that door open. Affirmative, Uhura. I want that door open. Affirmative, Uhura.
Sir, we have a secondary code that is nested in the Klingon program. Computer is unable to analyze its function. Shall we broadcast it to you when you activate the keypad?
Affirmative. Negative. Transmit the door entry code only. Affirmative.
Good luck, Captain.
Okay. So there's two codes.
Save new game. Replace previous.
Disposable guy. Put in the code.
What is this place?
This is not Klingon technology, Captain.
Even I can see that, you pointy-eared freak.
Gentlemen, I suggest we start trying to find out what this is. I have a feeling we've come someplace Flick wasn't expecting us to go.
A strange yellow light. This large gem appears to be an emerald of unusual size. This is obviously artificial. This large gem appears to be a ruby. This large gem appears to be a... Openings on the platform. Place something in these holes.
Captain, it seems to be some sort of interface device, but I do not know how to activate it.
Your tricorder's recording functions are working.
Nothing to report, Captain. Nothing to report, Captain.
Jim, I have no idea what it is. Why don't you try asking Spock? There's nothing there requiring...
Red, green, blue.
Transportation is restricted to higher order functions. Neural interlink required.
Neural what?
A platform emitting a beam of light.
I suspect, Captain, that the machinery is activated by placing the gems in the proper slots. We should determine a system for this.
We've got to get out of here, Jim.
I suspect, Captain, that the machinery is...
Not prime for neural interlink.
Okay. Prime.
You fail to obtain... You fail to obtain...
It's my inventory full.
Nothing happens.
Priming is usually red or green.
This is Bialbi, High Mentalic of Rakur. For defense, use the light of war. For information, use my light. For transportation, use the light of travel. Sequences are keyed by combinations of crystals. Integrator now active.
Assuming war is red, travel is blue.
This is Bialbi, the most advanced life form on this world. Thank you for informing us of the situation. It shall be resolved. Admiral Vlicht, this is the defensive system of Rakur. You have engaged in genocidal activities on this world. Have you anything to say before your sentence is passed?
Kirk! This is your doing!
No, Admiral, it is not. But that will suffice as a final public statement. The sentence is banishment to you and all members of your crew who were involved in this action.
You have no right to try me!
I have as much right as you to conduct trials on this planet. You showed no justice to your victim. The penalty for injustice is death.
Kirk!
Hoist on your own petard, Vlicht. Do you want me to help you? You tried to send me to my death. Now you can rot as you get what you deserve. If I have your word that Quetzalcoatl goes free, I'm willing to intervene to save you. Hoist on your own. If I have your word that Quetzalcoatl goes free...
Agreed.
A life for a life is a just bargain. But his crimes are beyond count.
I do not see what can be served by more killing.
Idealism, an advanced concept. Naive, perhaps, but charming in its simplicity. Admiral Vlicht, the entity Quetzalcoatl shall be set free. If you ever return to this sector, the sentence shall be carried out. No Klingon vessel may ever return to this world.
Very well. I agree to your terms.
As for you, Captain, you may return. I find your social development most pleasing.
I fear that politics will make it impossible. Your planet is in Klingon space, but I don't understand why the Klingons never detected you.
Their archaeological digs did come close, Captain, but I am very elusive. I waited and monitored the situation and chose to reveal myself to you. Now you may go. Heed my warning, Vlicht. I shall not be merciful a second time.
What a weird mission.
Klingon ship leaving the area.
We will be setting course for Digifal. It's the closest thing to a home that Quetzalcoatl has.
It would appear everything worked out for the best.
Except for the people of Rakur, Mr. Spock. Except for the dead.
We have read your report on the problems at Rakur and evaluate your performance at 95%.
95.
You and your crew received 3 commendation points. The top brass at Starfleet are impressed. Outstanding work, Jim.
That old devil moon.
Message from Starfleet, sir.
On screen, Lieutenant.
The Enterprise will proceed to the Alpha Proxima system. While the indigenous race on Proxima 3 has not reached a technological level commensurate with entering the Federation, and therefore under the protection of the Prime Directive of non-interference, we do maintain a discrete monitoring satellite. It has picked up activity from an asteroid in an elliptical orbit. You are to investigate without interfering with life on the planet.
According to the library computer, the Alpha Proxima system has 5 planets and an asteroid belt. A large asteroid is heading towards the inner planets and should pass close by Proxima 3. It passes through the interior of the system once every 200 years. The people of Proxima 3 call it Scythe, the same name as their god of war.
God of War, Mr. Spock? Isn't that a bit surprising from a people whose technology matches 20th century Earth?
Considering the level of warfare during that century, I'm surprised that it is Earth that did not have a god of war. In any case, about a millennium ago, Proxima 3 suffered a globally devastating war.
Blew themselves back to the Stone Age, Mr. Spock?
Late Bronze Age, Ensign. They rebuilt their world in half the time it had taken to get there originally. But the Armageddon was mythologized as a battle between the Soths and Lucas. In that war, the planet was raised, and all the gods died except Scythe. He had rained fury down upon the world, then went off on a long dance of victory. His return is a time for worldwide soul-searching and atonement.
And Scythe returns, and our monitoring station picks up activity.
It would seem that we should proceed to Alpha Proxima and scan Scythe.
Save new game.
This mission 6.
Our orders are to proceed to Alpha Proxima, sir.
May I respectfully remind the captain. Entering standard orbit.
A sensor scan of Scythe reveals surface features consistent with damage left by a nuclear attack. It would seem to have been a target during Proxima's war.
Scythe rained fury down on the planet and then left on a dance of victory.
It would seem to make...
Captain, I just monitored a narrow beam message from Scythe to Proxima 3. I don't have it all. I just caught a bit of the initial burst. I'm attempting a translation, but it appears to be a computer code.
Any response from the planet?
The Proxtrites will not have the equipment necessary to understand and reply to that code for another 25.6 years at their present rate of development.
Let's do this mission again.
Still translating, Captain.
Spock, come with me. Mr. Scott, you have the con.
I don't have a save for mission 7.
Captain, Mr. Scott wishes to speak with you.
Mr. Scott?
Aye, we've had some slight problems with the transporters.
We didn't notice anything beaming down.
Just a glitch in the main transporter program. Mr. Kyle is loading a backup and we're performing tests. The transporters will be down for about an hour.
That will still give us plenty of time, Scotty.
I know. I have the lads in engineering doing a complete overhaul of the ship's systems.
Good, Mr. Scott. I'll keep you posted. Kirk out.
I cannot get readings from this range, Captain. But if we do not hurry, there will be nothing left to get a reading on. Large quantities of atmosphere are being circulated through these rocks. I would guess there are storage units within this satellite which are constantly replacing the atmosphere that is lost because of this moon's weak gravity.
Which means that this moon might still be inhabited, Mr. Spock.
We have detected no signs of life, Captain, but the possibility does exist. The rocks have a high quantity of triphosphorus silver in them.
You retrieve a rock.
Captain, I'm afraid we got a wee problem here.
What is it, Scotty?
There is some sort of virus in the main computer. Our phasers and tractor beams have been disabled, and there's no way we're getting them back in 3 hours.
There goes our backup plan. Do what you can, Mr. Scott.
Aye, I will, Captain. I may yet have a trick or two that I can pull, but don't count on any miracles.
Isolate that virus. That's your #1 priority.
That it is, Captain. We'll keep you informed. Scott out.
No appreciable cosmic radiation damage yet. No appreciable cosmic radiation damage yet.
Working display panel, Captain. There is power running to the keypad. This appears to be a dust-covered lens of some sort. The door still appears to be in operating condition.
Spock, see what you can do with that lock.
That worked. I see you deduced that 10200 in the Lucre's Base 3 was equal to their sacred number 99.
Report, Scotty. How are things going?
About as badly as a kilt in a blast furnace, Captain. Wait a minute. Lieutenant Uhura has some news for you.
The virus came from our sensor sweep of the moon's computers. We believe we have analyzed the memory sectors it attacked.
Well done, Uhura.
I wish I could take credit for it. It was Mr. Kyle who found the pattern. We are attacking it with antivirus programs.
Computer science sounds more like medicine every day.
If we had a doctor as good with computers as you are with patients, we'd be having a lot fewer problems.
Finally, someone who appreciates me.
Keep working at it, Uhura. Kirk out.
A computer terminal, Captain. It uses the Lucre alphabet. I think I can decipher it. This keypad is fully functional and controls the door. Its entry code is in Base 3. The console reports the following. Welcome to Orbital Missile Base. Codename Scythe. This base has been operational for the past week. It has completed 1 successful fire mission. Estimation of success is at 22 over 100.
22%? That's very low. Hardly something to brag about.
Doctor, in Base 3, 22 divided by 100 is equivalent to 8 out of 9, or 88%. I would think that quite satisfactory, given this base's probable mission of destroying the soft forces on Proxtree.
It says the base has been operational for a week, but this has been here for 1,000 years.
If the Lucres built this base with a clock that told the time by measuring the moon's rotational speed, or the gravitational forces generated by Proxtree and the sun, the computer may have calculated only a week of time has passed since its first action. I might be able to learn more with another look at the console. There is a substantial amount of data here, but in summary, Scythe was created by the Lucres as a launching platform for missiles to keep the Softs subjugated to their influence. The Softs managed to infiltrate the base. However, their actions triggered Scythe's auto-attack mechanisms and initiated a holocaust that nearly annihilated the planet. One soft strike did, in fact, hit the moon and deflected it from its orbit. It has been dormant since then.
So why has the base been activated again?
Given the damage to the moon, its slow rotation and orbit, it has never realized the war is over. On this pass, for the first time, it has detected radio wave transmissions from Proxtree. Because it does not recognize them, it assumes the softs are still active. Its transmission to the planet, I would assume, was some sort of a check beacon to see if it should continue its mission.
Jim, let's return to the ship and blast this place to destroy its weapons.
Doctor, this moon is a god to the people down there. If we destroy it, we will violate the Prime Directive.
Spock is right, Bones. Spock, what are the chances that we could decode the transmission and send a stop code to the base?
In trinary or decimal?
Spock!
1.327 million to 1. Provided the archaeological studies about Lucre's languages are correct. Our other option is to get into this base and see if we can bring the computers down. Fascinating. If the Federation language studies were correct, the ideograph for the word scythe in the Lucre's language is the 17th symbol in their alphabet that corresponds with 122 in base 3.
Captain, we have a cure for the computer virus.
Well done, Uhura.
I modified Ctrl-C to exclusively attack the Lucre virus. They annihilated each other, Captain.
Fascinating, Lieutenant.
The Klingons aren't going to be happy to learn that they helped us. How about the phasers and tractor beams?
We may get the tractor beams online in time, Captain. I'm afraid even the backup phaser transmission codes were affected. We could destroy some missiles manually, but if this complex decides to launch more than 10 missiles at a time...
Understood. The ball is in our court. We'll give it our best shot. Kirk out.
Nothing to report, Captain. This door is made from remarkably dense alloys. Even our most powerful phaser rifle or welder would not be able to penetrate it.
The thing must be almost as tough as a starship hull.
Indeed, Ensign, and considerably thinner. A remarkable achievement in metallurgical engineering. This panel has a slot in it rather than a keypad. The slot bears traces of triphosphorus silver, and power is currently running to it. I am recording the pattern of this lock into my tricorder.
Can't say I like the decor.
The Lucres did not leave behind many examples of their architecture.
I can see why.
Captain, with the 3K AG content of the surface rocks and the tricorder scan of the pattern inside the lock, I believe the laser drill can be used to fashion the ID card needed to open the sealed door in the other chamber. These are display panels for the laser drill. They are still functional. The drill is unremarkable, except its aiming component is corroded and frozen in place. The mine shaft was drilled out of the lunar rock by a laser device similar to the one mounted in the ceiling. A storage box of some kind. I detect no dangerous substances. Captain, the machine requests the proper coordinates before it may perform this operation. These are display panels for the laser drill. They are still functional. I used the keycard pattern scanned from the lock to program the drill. It should now be able to make a template of the keycard in the rock. Nothing to report, Captain. This appears to be the brain of Scythe. There are two identical but isolated computers that communicate with a third, which controls the launch of missiles. Readings indicate an extremely high radiation level beyond those doors. It would be fatal to proceed beyond them. This computer directly controls the missile launch system. There is no way to interface with it directly, but the other two computers are accessible. A crude uranium-235 nuclear device with lithium-beryllium shells to increase heavy particle fallout. This computer is functional and performing an average 0.75 million operations per second. This computer is functional and performing an average 1.2 million operations per second.
We're safe from the cosmic radiation, Jim.
All three of the computers in this room are fully operational.
Welcome to Side Operations Center, Omega Unit. Estimated time to optimal launch range is 1.31 hours adjusted. Welcome to Side Operations Center, Alpha Unit. Estimated time to optimal launch range is 3.21 hours adjusted.
Captain, something is wrong with the computers. They may be twins, but they are not identical.
It appears they are out of sync, Captain. I have to assume the Alpha Unit has a virus, which is using up an incredible amount of computing time.
They report different optimum launch times, which is right.
Given the elliptical orbit and the range at which they will pass Proxtree, the Omega Unit is correct, but the window is very narrow. A variation of minutes will mean the missiles run out of fuel and fall harmlessly into the sun.
Can you reprogram the Lucas computer to give us that time, Mr. Spock?
Reprogramming an old alien computer is not simple, Captain. The odds against success are 10,221 to 1 against.
Too bad old Omega here couldn't just take a sick day and miss the firing.
Because the two machines are isolated, the virus did not spread from one to the other.
If we could only bridge them.
The connector snaps into place.
Welcome to Side Operations Center, Alpha Unit. Estimated time to optimal launch range is 3.21 hours adjusted.
Okay, almost.
Save new game. Replace previous.
Yes. Back to mission 7.
Welcome to Side Operations Center, Omega Unit. Estimated time to optimal launch range is 1.54 hours adjusted.
The launched missiles will run out of fuel before they reach Proxtree. They will drift into the sun and burn up.
Kirk to Enterprise, how are the transporters, Scotty?
They're operational again, Captain. We're ready to bring you back at any time.
Bring us home.
Message from Starfleet.
On screen, Lieutenant.
We have read your report on the problems at Proxima 3 and evaluate your performance at 100%. You and your crew received 4 commendation points. A perfect mission, Jim. You are a model for all Starfleet.
Hard to believe that Earth came so close to the brink itself.
Vulcans, too. Both, in the end, looked into the abyss and came to the only logical conclusion.
Logic? Humans? I'm dreaming, Jim.
Sometimes it is harder and braver to make peace rather than war.
Sounds like emotion had its part to play in a positive sense, too.
I don't know about you, but I'd like to bid an emotional goodbye to Alpha Proxima myself.
Take us out of orbit, Mr. Suda.
Vengeance.
Captain's log. We are arriving at the last known position of the USS Republic, which reported that it was under attack 12 hours ago.
Captain, the ship's sensors have picked up what appears to be a starship. Minimal life support, minimal engine power, and only 2 life forms, one on the bridge, the other in sickbay. Both appear to be gravely injured. It is the Republic.
Spock, come with me. Mr. Scott, you have the con.
I am preparing an information packet for Starfleet. Shall I send it or wait for you to return?
Send it now. If a hostile ship arrives, head immediately for Starbase 24. Wait until we get back. No sense giving Starfleet incomplete information. Send it now.
My God, Jim, what kind of butcher would do something like this?
I don't know, Bones. We're too far from the Klingon and Romulan borders for it to be one of their ships.
Enterprise to Captain Kirk.
Kirk here. What is it, Scott?
We picked up a distress signal. It appears a trading vessel is having a wee bit of trouble with their warp drive. What condition is the Republic in?
It's a mess, Scotty. Life support's functioning, but that's about it.
I've done a primary scan of the Republic's systems. Main and auxiliary power is out. Life support is stable. I also read that communications are operable.
Should we beam you back, Captain?
Do the sensors read any other ships in the sector?
Besides the trade vessel, this sector is clear, sir.
Mr. Scott, we will continue here. Assist the trade ship and return here. If we need assistance, we'll contact you.
You sure you'll be all right, Captain?
Yes, Scotty, just don't take too long. Kirk out. Well, gentlemen, let's see if we can re-establish power.
Jim, don't forget, there's another survivor on board. We've got to find him. They're dead, Jim. All of them. They're dead, Jim. All of them. We're too late. This man must have died just a few moments ago.
Can you bring him back?
Punctured lung, nerve damage, brain damage, fractured arm and ribs. It's a miracle he lasted as long as he did. He's not coming back, Jim.
Tricorder readings indicate that the ship is running on minimal battery power. Only life support and essential systems are currently running. Captain, records indicate that this ship was attacked by a Constitution-class starship.
Any idea of which one it was?
I am reading the record of the transponder signal, NCC-1701. It's the Enterprise, Captain.
Someone must have tampered with the computer records.
May I remind you, Doctor, that the main computer of a Constitution-class starship has safeguards against such an intrusion. Furthermore, I do not see any discrepancies in any of the files that I am able to access. Nothing to report, Captain. My tricorder has picked up the final entry of the Republic.
We're under attack. Our sensors are inoperative. We're trying to get shields up. Our rear deflector's down. It appears our enemy is a Constitution-class starship. We've tried to defend ourselves. We've hailed them, but no response.
That's all there is, Captain.
Dick Patterson was never one for making long speeches.
This is a standard tritanium-duranium support beam. Tricorder readings indicate that although it has experienced enough tensile stress to push it from one side of its mooring, it has not elastically deformed beyond its ability to support a compressive load.
Thanks for the dissertation, Spock.
Tricorder readings indicate that the ship is running on minimal battery power.
He's dead, Jim. I can't bring him back.
I can't believe it. That's Brittany Murata. I knew her from my academy days. We studied alien history together.
She's suffering from severe trauma and internal bleeding. I'll see what I can do.
Do what you can, Bones. I need to find out what happened here.
She's in bad shape, Jim. I've tried to stabilize her, but it doesn't look good.
You pick up the empty hypodermic injector. You retrieve the medical drill.
No! You won't get us!
Murata, what happened?
They said it was the Enterprise. They had visual confirmation.
What about the Enterprise?
You killed us, Jim. We were friends for you. I trusted you.
It wasn't the Enterprise, Murata.
There's nothing more I can do.
Well, gentlemen, let's see if we can re-establish power.
He's dead, Jim.
You've taken the cable. You retrieve the molecular saw.
He's dead, Jim.
Tricorder indicates that the panel is currently sealed by Federation standard molecular bonding cement.
The drill easily breaks through the seal of the panel.
Initial scans show that the gear mechanism is currently jammed with metallic debris.
The panel opens. The molecular saw easily cuts through the beam, separating it from the hull. You pick up the beam. It's a little heavy, but you manage it.
The debris is highly unstable, Captain. I recommend we try to find a support of some kind to secure the ceiling. The ceiling appears stable. We should now be able to use Turbo Lift 2, Captain. Captain, I'm picking up a functioning energy source in the immediate vicinity. I'm picking up a high-energy power source somewhere under the debris. I recommend caution, Captain.
Oh my God, Jim, is that what I think it is?
Yes, Doctor. It is a portable fusion power pack.
A few centimeters lower with that phaser and half this section would be history, not to mention us.
Actually, Doctor, 3.2 centimeters. And based on our proximity to the explosion and the angle of the beam.
Thank you, Spock. I think we get the point.
You pick up the portable fusion power pack.
They're dead, Jim. All of them.
Nothing to report, Captain. Nothing to report, Captain. This is an engineering circuit junction box. It is used for temporary rerouting of power. Without using one of these devices set to the proper impedance, an overload can occur. Captain, this is the fusion mixture regulator for the impulse engines. There is currently no power running to it. Captain, this is the fusion mixture.
You fail to obtain... The closet opens, revealing a library of engineering technical journals. You take the engineering technical journals. The hypo is now filled with multipurpose oil. Nothing happens. The debris is jammed in too tight. The oil seeps into and loosens the debris. The gears are completely cleared of debris. These are the auxiliary helm and navigation controls for the Republic. Though they are intact, the ship is in no condition to move under her own power.
This input-output slot for the record decks is still functional, Captain.
Mr. Spock, what is the status of the ship's computer?
There is extensive damage to the main processing unit of the ship's computer. It will take several days at a starbase to repair.
We don't have several days, Mr. Spock.
Unless we can find a suitable computational alternative, there will be no way to control the ship's systems.
That's just great, Spock. We don't exactly carry an M5 computer in our inventory.
Correct, Doctor. However, there may be another alternative. Linked tricorders, along with the circuits in the data reader, should have the processing power necessary to control a single starship system.
Thank goodness for parallel processing. I don't know what computers could do without it.
The impulse power allocation controls are functional, but there is no power available, Captain.
You take the record decks.
Captain's log. Stardate 6087.6. The Republic is currently approaching the Vardane system. Sensors have detected unusual energy fluctuations near one of the Vardanian moons. Starfleet has ordered us to investigate.
Nothing happens.
Captain's log, stardate 6087.8. We are under attack by 2 unidentified ships. I don't know how they could have approached undetected. They must have some kind of cloaking device, although there are no reports of Romulans in this sector. Captain's log, stardate 6088.1. We have successfully driven off our assailants. Major damage has been sustained by our warp engines. Communications has reported that USS Enterprise is in sector. I requested Mr. Scott's assistance in repairing damage to the Republic. With luck, we will be fully operational in a couple of days.
Captain's log, stardate 6088.5. First Officer Andrade commanding. The Enterprise has inexplicably opened fire upon us. Captain Patterson has been mortally wounded. We have sustained major damage to all systems. Impulse power is out. We cannot understand why.
There are no more log decks, Captain. Captain, I have examined the engineering journals. According to Chapter 18, we can run...
Jim, do we really need a lesson in starship engineering?
Spock, just tell me if they will help.
Why, yes, Captain. This turbo lift cannot reach that area of the ship.
You pick up a length of cable.
He's dead, Jim.
It appears to be a section from a coolant exhaust port. I would not recommend too close of an inspection, Captain. The floor could collapse from our added weight.
You connect a length of cable between the impulse engine and the junction box. You connect a length of cable between the regulator circuits and the junction box.
Please select an impedance.
Spock?
Captain, the information obtained from the engineering journals indicates the correct impedance setting to be 19,000 ohms.
Go ahead and adjust the settings, Spock.
Power has now been restored, Captain. The regulator is fully operating from the power tap run from the impulse engines. We can allocate power to ship systems in auxiliary control. I fail to see the logic in that action, Captain.
Spock crudely attaches the medical tricorder to the computer console. Spock crudely attaches the science tricorder to the computer console.
Both tricorders are rigged into the main computer's central processing unit. We now have enough computational power to control a single ship's system.
Captain, look! An Alassi ship.
That ship was cloaked.
Fascinating.
Is that all you can say?
Captain, I suggest we try to raise the shields.
Did that last time.
With impulse power online and the tricorders performing computer control, I can divert power to...
Weapons.
Power allocated to weapons systems, Captain.
Captain, I suggest we try to raise the shields.
These are the auxiliary helm and navigation controls for the Republic. Though they are intact, the ship...
Mr. Spock, what is the condition of the fire control system?
Weapons control is functioning properly. However, there appears to be a jam in the primary loading mechanism. Captain, the torpedo loading system is malfunctioning. To clear it, we will have to physically examine the mechanism. Currently, all turbolift access to the torpedo bay is blocked by a hull breach. It is imperative that we get the weapons online. With impulse power online and the tricorders performing computer control, I can divert power to...
Weapons. Shields.
Shields are up, sir.
Captain, we are being hailed by the Alassi, Captain.
Put it on screen, Spock.
Well, if it isn't Captain Kirk. Fancy meeting you out here all alone in such a shabby starship.
What do you want?
You should be more civil, considering your Enterprise is far away on a mercy mission helping that poor traitor.
It was a setup?
I can see why they made you Captain.
I assume since you haven't blasted us to bits, you want something.
Why, yes I do. It seems you failed to give one of my associates some rather important information.
The Masada, I presume. You want the locations of all your imprisoned comrades?
Yes, Kirk. The Republic's computers will have the data just as your Enterprise would. I give you 1 minute to comply.
Just try and get it. You can't threaten me. It will take time. The controls are smashed.
Maybe I should just pump a few torpedoes into your shields and check it out for myself.
The Republic will fall apart if you fire on us. Then you'll never get the data.
All right, Kirk. We'll do it your way. I would rather not kill you. Besides, as an old friend that wants to meet you, I give you 30 minutes. And remember, no tricks.
Captain, the main computer is far beyond...
Shut up, Spock.
30 minutes then. Kirk out.
With impulse power online and the tricorders performing computer control, I can divert power to...
Weapons. Shields. Transporter circuits. Weapons. Transporter circuits.
Captain, the Alassi can surely detect the lowering of our shields. They will undoubtedly try to board us if we lower them.
Spock, what about the fusion power pack? Could we use it to power the transporter?
I believe so, Captain. It would require a connection to the transporter circuits in the main control console. This turbo lift cannot... Captain, there is no power allocated to the transporter.
Spock, would it be possible to connect the fusion power pack directly into the transporter power circuits?
Fascinating. It can be done. However, the transporter will only be able to transport a single person.
Do it, Spock.
This is exactly where it was last time.
Captain, there are no coordinates set for the transporter.
He looks at you with a puzzled expression. He looks at you with a puzzled expression.
Spock, please check out the transporter.
Transporter systems are operational, Captain. Coordinates have been set to the photon torpedo loading bay.
That is new.
Save new game.
I fail to see the logic in that action, Captain.
Ensign Keege, I want you to beam into the torpedo bay and unjam the loading mechanism. If you don't succeed, we'll all be on permanent shore leave in an Alassi jail.
I'll do my best, sir.
Do it, Spock.
I've reached the torpedo loading bay, Captain. It's not too badly damaged, fortunately.
What's causing the malfunction in the loading mechanism?
The inner loading door is stuck in the closed position. Now, I can force it open, but when the loading cycle has begun, the room will lose pressure. We won't be able to beam back here again.
Do it, Ensign. We'll just have to gamble that the system doesn't jam again.
The door's open, Captain. I'm ready to transport back.
Beam him back, Spock.
Turbo lift access is blocked by an extreme... They are jamming all frequencies, Captain. We will not be able to contact the Enterprise.
Well, Captain Kirk, I trust you and your valiant crew have retrieved the data I requested.
Not yet. We're having trouble accessing all the data files. Yes, we have. You'll have to beam over and get it, though. The computer's subspace transmitter is out. Not yet. Yes, we have.
How convenient, Kirk. We'll beam over, but no tricks. My sensors read that only your shields have power. Lower them now.
We'll comply. Kirk out.
With impulse power online and the tricorders performing computer control, I can divert power to...
Weapons.
Power allocated to weapons systems, Captain.
Sensors indicate that the Alassi ship has lowered its shields. I suggest we prepare your surprise soon, Captain. They will beam over any moment.
Fire.
Kirk, I should have known you'd try something underhanded like this. Weapons Master, fire all weapons on the Republic!
We can't, Captain. All weapon systems offline. Captain, the Enterprise is coming on high-speed approach.
Activate cloaking device. Kirk, until we meet again.
Not too soon, I hope.
Watch yourself, Captain. It may be sooner than you realize.
Enterprise to Captain Kirk. Are you safe, sir?
We're fine, Lieutenant.
Sir, we picked up another ship nearby, and we came as fast as we could. It appeared to cloak. Were you attacked by Romulans?
No, Ensign. It looks like the Alassi have been doing some business with them. Scotty, beam us back. We need to find that ship that attacked the Republic.
Aye, Captain.
Captain's log, stardate 6089.6. We are in pursuit of the starship that destroyed the Republic. Its trail is leading us to the planet Bardane, a member of the Federation whose motives have not always matched the high ideals of other Federation cultures.
Captain, I did not expect to hear you judge an entire culture. I understand the Republic.
I had bad experiences with the Bardane long ago, Mr. Spock.
Fascinating. Captain, I am reading a Constitution-class starship heading for Vardane at warp factor 5.
Captain, its transponder codes match ours.
Sensors indicate it is an exact duplicate of the Enterprise, including hull markings.
Open hailing frequencies. Increase to warp factor 8. Send a message to Starfleet. Open hailing frequencies.
Captain Kirk, this is the Enterprise 2. I am Dr. Ayaz Burdell of the Verdane Defense Force. You do remember me, don't you, Captain?
I remember you. 10 years ago, when I was on the Farragut, we exposed your unethical practices to the Vardane Council.
The old Verdane Council. Politics is such a fickle business. The new one is much less concerned with trivial concerns. I remember your part in my disgrace, which is why, when we began to construct our own Constitution-class ships, I insisted that we have our own Enterprise.
How did you manage to build a Constitution-class ship? You have 10 seconds to lower your shields and power down your weapons, or we will fire. You won't get away with this. The Vardane can't honestly expect to take on the entire Federation. How did you manage to build a Constitution-class ship?
Our intelligence network is better than yours, Captain. How else does one gather secret information?
You are a member of the Federation. You have signed Federation treaties.
And we shall break them. The Federation's interference in our internal affairs is intolerable.
You must have been building that ship long before the Turgan crisis.
Captain, all wars require justification. They aren't supposed to be fun. You have your justification and I have mine. Don't take diplomacy so seriously. However, Captain, I do intend to enjoy myself. I do intend to enjoy seeing Lieutenant Kirk's ship go up in flames. I shall laugh at the sight.
We'll see who gets the last laugh, Burdell. I'm sure you would. You're a fool, Burdell. You can't defeat a trained Federation crew unless you ambush them. We'll see who gets the last laugh.
I have noted that the Federation enjoys talking, Captain. You may talk yourself to your grave. Prepare to be destroyed.
Arming weapons.
Raising shields.
There are several Elasi ships closing rapidly along with our twin. It seems Burdell has called up reinforcements.
Save new game.
Our weapons are up. Aye, sir.
The Enterprise has been destroyed. Load of previously saved.
Our weapons are...
The Enterprise has been disloaded
Our weapons are...
The Enterprise has been disloaded previous...
Target analysis off. Target analysis off.
That's the last of them, Captain.
Well, that's over.
Duplicate Enterprise indeed. That alien contraption was no match for the real thing.
What if the Vardain have more Constitution-class vessels?
The Federation will blockade Vardain until they agree to destroy their weapons facilities and all non-authorized ships.
Message from Starfleet, Captain.
On screen, Lieutenant.
We have read your report on the destruction of the USS Republic and evaluate your performance at 100%. You and your crew received 4 commendation points. A perfect mission, Jim. You are a model for all Starfleet. We have reviewed your overall performance for this year at 75%, Enterprise. A competent performance, Captain. You have met Starfleet standards that we expect out of a starship captain. Good luck on future missions.
Well, that was a rather underwhelming evaluation.
It was a logical appraisal, Captain. We did make numerous mistakes.
That's what being human is about, Spock. We aren't machines. We're imperfect and proud of it.
I had noticed that, Doctor, from a cursory glance at your history. Indeed, given the number of errors that humanity has made.
The challenge, Mr. Spock, is to learn from your mistakes and make yourself a better person. It's something we can do on our next mission.
Want to bet?
Warp Factor 2 to our next destination, Mr. Seward.
Alright, it's over.
Very few people have the ability to fire up our imaginations and make us think about the human condition. Gene Roddenberry, the creator of Star Trek, was one of those people. He took us where no man has gone before and beyond. He created a starship, its crew, and an entire universe and brought them to life for millions of people. Without Gene, there would have been no Star Trek computer game or a Star Trek television series. Gene Roddenberry, born 1921, died 1991. We honor your memory.